of all the strangest phenomena, unexpected, not weird, of the sudden shift, the calling into question, if you will, the liberal era that has dominated our lives for so long. And this is partly associated in my mind with Nick Fuentes, for reasons stated, and the Trump victory in the elections, and the conservative civic ethnic nationalist turn in Britain. There are a number of aspects of it. But one of the interesting phenomena, having just gone through Holy Week in Bordeaux, is the return to the faith of young Catholics, the demonstration of fervor, of traditional piety. There was in one image recently, and I think I've mentioned this before, I was at Notre Dame, which is one of our finest churches in the center of the city, during Holy Week. I think it was Holy Saturday, and a young man came in, I would say 22, 23, in an open-necked shirt, and at the Holy Communion font, he dipped his hand in and did the sign of the cross, as Catholics do, and then he buttoned his collar to look slightly more respectable. And the manifestations of piety, of deep bowing during the consecration, what have you, this sort of thing, reminded me of my childhood. I was like that. I was a very devout Catholic as a child, and the 12 years of Catholic education left its mark on me. Now, where does that leave us now? It leaves us to an interesting position for me and other people in adult, educated Catholics, who may become cultural Catholics or not Catholics at all, still influenced, of course, by that enormous impact of an early education, but still disaffected in a way. Now, with the new Pope, and that may be the most important event of all, rather than the other things I've mentioned, Mr. Fuentes and Trump and white nationalism in England. And that is, they're trying to gather this together under a rubric, a covering archetype of idea. And that is my notion that the dove of the Holy Spirit in Catholic painting, such a common motif, that dove has two wings, right and left. And for a while there, after the Vatican II reforms, it looked like the left wing was flying by itself and the conservative wing was left to its own devices. And then the reverse began to happen. But now I think really a kind of balance is in order. That's going to take some thinking about, and I thought, let's do some thinking about it. But just beginning on the notion that for the church to flourish, and it's traditionally this has always been the case between those who had a rather stricter interpretation of this, that, and the other thing, and those who've had a more liberal interpretation of this, that, and the other thing. But the dialogue between the two keeps the bird upright, so to speak. No offense to the Holy Trinity. And so let us proceed to make sense of this two-winged theory of Roman Catholicism as it encounters a sudden revival of conversions and what have you, in France and elsewhere. But at the same time, to think it through carefully this time, see if we can get a better balance than after 1962, and at the same time, keep from going overboard in another direction. It's important. It's a stabilizing influence, and right now we could use a stabilizing influence. Anyway, there we've begun. Two wings.